I spent the last 10 days in Portugal during May 2021. You want to know how? Stay tuned for that. Hey my friend, so this trip wasn't really part of my trip around the world that is planned. I'd rather call it a holiday before the real travel experience. And since my hard drive broke and it's way too expensive to get the data fixed, you just gotta live with me, sitting here, talking to you and blending in some of the stock footage and the little phone footage I took there. But let's hop into it, right? So I went together with my cousin for this 1.5 weeks and we wanted to have this live life to the fullest but safe experience. So we basically didn't book anything except for the flight, the first night and our rental car. But to start, to get to Portugal at the moment, you need a PCR test that is not older than 72 hours. There are plenty places you can do it, but it is important that the test result has your ID on it, like the ID you're gonna travel with, either it's your citizen card or your passport. Also the result should be there in the language the country you're traveling to speaking and English. I heard people got through with just German, but I'd rather advise you to find a place that is also in English, so you're safe. Also, you need to fill out a form which is called the passenger locator card. This is all digital. You just have to fill out some basic information, but very important, you have to fill in your seat number from the flight. So I recommend to do that after you've checked in. You can do everything online. This form was also printed out and offered by the airline. But if you fill it out in the plane, you have to give it back to them, so they will give it to the government. And to be honest, you don't have anything left, so I'd rather advise you to do it all digitally, because you can just have your QR code scanned and you still have it in case anybody else wants to see it or something. Also, I advise you to get to the airport a bit earlier, because you never know how the situation there is. Of course, there are less flights, less people, but sometimes also less staff, because they just don't have too much to do. And also you have all this corona regulations, so just, yeah, better be safe than sorry and missing your flight. Another new thing I never know before corona was that you will get called to enter the plane in specific groups. So not everybody has to wait in line, you get called by your group. Usually it's like between 1 and 5, and then you can enter the plane, which is something they can do after corona as well. In the plane itself, we got disinfection wipes to clean our hands. I also cleaned a bit of the area I was sitting in, and we got like a bottle of water instead of cups, and just like a snack bar instead of a big meal or something. So the time you actually put off your mask to eat or drink is really limited. Also, you're called by your row number to exit the plane, which is also something I hope post-COVID will stay, because I never get how people stand up the minute the plane is landing and just stand there like this on the aisle. So yeah, like this, it's all really organized, and you also get out there at least a bit quicker, I guess. Exiting the plane was actually really smooth, but then we had to wait over 1 hour to actually exit the airport, because there were just 2 people for everybody who was entering Portugal, who were looking at your locator card and also your negative COVID test. So it took a while to really get through with it. So just in case, I don't know, you ordered a taxi or you have somebody waiting for you, just keep that in mind, it could take longer. And then we took the metro to the city, which is probably one of the easiest and cheapest ways to get there. We were super exhausted from the flight because we had to wear a mask basically all the time. But then there was this moment when we get out of a tunnel and we were on the Pont Louis bridge, and Porto was there in front of us. We saw the river, we saw the beautiful houses there, and our jaws dropped basically. Nobody saw it because we were wearing masks, but it was such a beautiful moment, and that was the moment I realized that we made it to Porto. Our hostel, the Douro Surf Hostel, was located in Gaia, which is the one side of the Douro River. We actually booked like 2 beds in a 6-dorm room, but since COVID and everything, they actually gave us an upgrade so we can keep distance to each other, and we got a private room with a private kitchen and a private bathroom. It was amazing, so thanks again, Douro Surf Hostel. The room there was fine, and we had a really quick walk, like 5 to 10 minutes maximum, to get to the riverside. For COVID regulations in general, masks are mandatory if you are getting closer to people more than 2 meters, but actually seeing Portuguese people wearing masks all the time. Either if they're walking alone on the street, some even in cars, so they take it really seriously, and I did feel a lot safer there than I did in Germany, to be honest. The day we arrived, May 1st, was actually the first day everything was opening up completely again, like also restaurants inside and everything. So you can imagine how happy everybody was, and also we were kind of the only tourists there, which made it more authentic. We ended the day in a kind of soccer clubhouse. I tried to find it and link it down there. And we had some authentic food there with a view over the river. And after that we watched the stunning sunset. The sun was actually going down on the riverside, up on the way to Mosteiro da Serra de Pilar. No idea if I pronounce that correctly, but I can only recommend to do the same. If you enjoyed this little Portugal video, please give me a like. I'd highly appreciate it. And also, if you're interested in the rest of our adventure we had in Portugal, make sure to subscribe and activate the clock so you will never miss a video. And until next time, stay tuned, stay curious, and stay creative, my friend.